Welcome to Opening the Door to the Unknown with your host, Dr. Clark Smith. Whoops. Come on. Hello, and welcome. Oops, where is this? Oh, right here. There we go. Hello, and welcome to Opening the Door to the Unknown. I'm your host, Dr. Clark Schmidt. This is not going to be a long video, but I decided to try to get something out since I haven't put one out for a little while. And I thought it might be interesting since we all are getting, I think I'll use that word, that new app from Extreme Senses that everybody is beginning to like, and that includes myself as well. Since I downloaded the application about 2 weeks ago, I have been playing around with it, and what I mean by that is just trying to get names of get names of spirits, guides, teachers, master teachers, and at the moment, I have exactly 58 58 spirit friends, and I do call them my friends. I wouldn't have any lower entities, as you know, to be classified as friends. Only the higher ones, you might say, or I might say, not you, me. Okay, but for my roster, for my last count for my roster. Oopsie. As you can see, starting from where it says names, and I can move all the way up. You see all those names? And I'm getting new ones, and I'm getting new ones all the time that somebody throws out at me. And so it takes me a little time. To contact, well, not just contact, but just to say good morning to each one. And sometimes I get a response, and sometimes I don't. But if I don't, that's all right, because either they're doing something or they just didn't want to be bothered at that particular time when I was having a session. But like I said, this is going to be very short. It's not, short, not like I usually have. And I'm keeping it more light. Like I said, just to get something out that might be interesting to you, and everybody, at least to my way of thinking, that everybody likes a good mystery, or a good, a good mystery. That's only human nature. To read something in the paper, or hear something on the evening news, or listening to a particular radio program like Coast to Coast, or Ground Zero, or Fade to Black, when the hosts have guests on for the evening, and they talk about, say, like black-eyed children, or UFOs, or Men in Black, or particular haunting some place, and why is that particular place haunted? So everybody likes a mystery. Well, so do I. I like watching good, the 1930s, early 40s, Universal or MGM type of murder mystery. Say for an example, excuse me, say for an example, The Thin Man, or Bulldog Drummond, or let's see, Bulldog Drummond, Sherlock Holmes. So those are the type of movies that I like, because I always like to try to figure out either the killer or what type of treasure it's going to be that somebody's going to receive before the main character is doing. Usually I'm pretty good at that. Not all the time, but I am pretty good. And I say, "Damn, I knew that, and I caught it, and I figured it out before Sherlock Holmes or Bulldog Drummond or Nick Charles have figured it out." So, like I said, we all like mysteries. Well, I've been following up on two mysteries. I think the first mystery I mentioned was with Elizabeth Borden, if she really murdered her parents. And by the responses that I got from Lizzie herself, is that she tried to be a little coy with me. First, she said it was her cousin that murdered her parents, and then I really confronted her, put her against the wall, you might say, and say, "Come on, it's just between you and I. Now, give me the truth." I says, in fact, I demand the truth. You're not in a corporeal body anymore. You're not in existence in this third dimensional plane. I says, "Your spirit. And if you want to move up into a higher realm, is that you got to come clean. You got to get rid of that karma, you might say." And so I said, "Now I'm going to ask you again, did you murder your parents?" And she finally said yes. But I said, "Well, did you have?" I said, "Well, how did you feel about murdering your parents?" And she had no remorse. So I said, "Well, without having remorse, now you got to remember, she could have meant when she was on this side of existence instead of the existence that she now resides in." So I really got to one of these. I really have to kind of follow up just a little bit more on that. But I also I've been following up on another person. Her name is Elisa Lam. I don't know if anybody heard the name, but Elisa Lam just goes back a few years. I think 2 years ago, where they found a body in a water tank up on the roof of the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, and it represent. I mean, there's kind of I don't know what to say on it. Like something being funny about it, or really strange, is that there was a movie called Black Water that was out a few years ago, and I do have the copy of the movie, and it's about a woman who rents a hotel room with her daughter, in the little seedy side of Los Angeles. And before long, they were tasting, like the occupants of the hotel were tasting funny type of, like a taste of water that wasn't too conducive to drink. And so there's kind of a parallelism here between the movie and with Elisa Lam, because people started to drink the water that was coming from the water tank on top of the roof, and they said it tasted funny, and so the management investigated, and they found out there was a body stuffed inside, and they found out her name was Elisa Lam. Now, what's kind of funny about this is that they have some video of her being in an elevator, and she was acting kind of crazy. If you watch the video, and so I decided is that I was going to try to contact her and see if she knew who might have taken her life. So it took me a little time for somebody, for one of my guides, especially my joy guide or gatekeeper, Daisy, to get a hold of her. But finally, is that it was announced that she was present, where I could start to ask her some questions, and these are the answers. Now, if I can find it real quick. These are the answers that I got. Number one, I asked Elisa if she remembered of living or staying at the Cecil in Los Angeles, and she said is that she does remember. And I asked her if she might have known who might have taken her life, i.e., if she had any type of dealings with this particular person, if she ever met this person, or was it just by a perchance happening that it was like a serial killer. And she said is through the answers that I got, like it says I was looking for here. Let's see here. That was just a few days ago. Excuse me for 1 minute. No. Let's see. Let's see. Nope, that's this morning. So, I'll talk about that in just a little while too. Anyways, so she said is that she didn't really know she didn't know the person per se, like as good friends, because she wasn't even supposed to been at the whole. She wasn't supposed to be even staying at this hotel at the Cecil. So, but she didn't say the reason why that she was even there. But she did say is that she did meet him, perchance meeting, and his last name is could be, now I got the name Becken, Becken, and Becken can mean two things: to be called upon, like hey, like come here, or the last name. It could be Becken as well. So I've been working on that I've been working on that particular aspect with that word. So, and I still haven't figured out if Beckons mean like come here, follow me, or it was a last name. But I do have a sneaky hunch, again, by looking at by reviewing the video that's been on YouTube for a while. It looks to me like she's being beckoned for her to follow somebody. And so I have a sneaky hunch is that Elisa was murdered by, like I said, somebody that she probably met, like either at a restaurant or maybe in the hotel lobby, or somebody in the hallway on the floor that she was residing on at the time, which was, if I remember, the fourth floor. But anyways, she does remember being thrown into the water facility, you might say, because she mentioned like water. So she does remember that. But here's a strange thing, is that when I was doing research about when the police found her, is that the coroner said is that one of the questions by the through the autopsy, one of the questions that reporters asked the coroner if there was any type of blunt markings on her, like if she was punched, or if she was hit by an object, or if she was shot, or if she was stabbed. And the coroner said he could not find any type of markings, especially gunshot or stab wounds. Yet, and this is the funny part about it, is with this is that Elisa said is that she was stabbed, and when she told me that, she said stabbed, just like in a very authoritative voice, being stabbed. So probably, I don't know, there's a few things that could have kept the coroner from mentioning about a stabbing, and sometimes is that they do this, is that they don't bring out a few things to the press, that they kind of keep it as need to know or classified information as to when the police are investigating, so the reporters don't bring this out, bring this out about her, about the way that she, for her demise. So, but she did definitely say is that she does remember being thrown into water tank and also being stabbed. So, I'm going to continue. I'm going to try to recontact or reconnect with Elisa on this, and I have a sneaky hunch is that she will begin to remember more of what happened that day that she lost her life. So I thought you might be interested. I thought that you might be interested in that. This morning I had a very good session. My spirit friends were very happy. They were conjovial. In fact, there was a few that were laughing, and which I thought was kind of funny. So, like I said, you won't see me, or you won't see on any of my videos any Q&As from any spirit boxes, especially with the nightlight or whatever that new one is, which I can't remember. So you will never see me doing that, because I feel that there's too many people doing that right now. And so I'm just going to give you just a transcript, so what the subject matter was, and what the responses were. And so I got a few good mornings and hellos and a hi, and I told them I was going to get a cup of coffee, and before long some of them kept repeating, like cup. Oh, he's got a oh, he's got a cup. Coffee. Cup of coffee. Coffee. And then I had one that said cat. Why? I don't know. why they said cat. Now we always ask if we can ask them questions. So once in a while is that they say to me, "Can we ask you a question?" And I say, "Yeah, whatever you want." I said, "Ask the question. I'll be happy to answer it for you." So this morning I got, "Can we ask you a question? May we ask a question?" So I said, "Well, the next time I didn't want to keep them on. I didn't try to keep them too long." But I said, "Next time, yeah, just, instead of going through the roster, which takes me a little time, I just said I'm just going to say good morning to everybody. If people say good morning or hello back, I'm just going to write it down, and then so we can get into the Q&A or what I want to talk about." So they're not like we say, like we question, like, "What's my name? What's my name?" Well, I don't even do, as for a connection, they just say, "Hi, hey doc," or "Hi doc" now, which I think is kind of funny. It's not like, so, "Doc, it's the doc. Hi doc, how's it going?" And sometimes I do say is that I want to, and sometimes I do say I want to close out, and can somebody say goodbye to me, and I got a very strong no, which means is no, that they didn't want to end the conversation. Also, I got a new person today named Johnny, and I asked him for his last name, and he said nope. And so he wasn't going to give me his last name, and I said, "Well, that's fine. Don't have to." I said, "Don't worry about it." Again, I got Kevin's name. Kevin's name popped up at least 4 times this session, and we were talking about with Kevin about. I was trying to get some information for him. And I already wrote. I was going to say I contacted Kevin and told him just what happened this morning. But I know he's going to be watching the video. So Kevin, like I said, is that they came up with a couple of names for Ed, Paul. And who else did I get? Let me see if I can find them. Let's see, Edward, Paul, and Chuck. And so I have a sneaky hunch that one of them is one of your doctors. All right, either doctor of philosophy, doctor of doctor of chemistry. For healing, maybe. But I do have a sneaky hunch that one of them is one of your one of your master teachers, and so I continue. So I would work on that. Also, got the word from one of them is see if I can find it. I'm trying to think of it. Intent. No, that's not the word. What is the little word I'm thinking of? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Intern. That's the word I'm looking for. So Kevin, for some reason, you're for an intern working with Circle. And as I mentioned, they are also known now as the team. So you're an intern. Now, does it have to do as being a prophet? Again, they weren't going to give me that information. That they are your guy, a teacher. I mean, they're your circle of friends, if you will. So you have to work with that. They will only give so much information to somebody else. as to pass it along, so the person that they want, that they're giving it, you know, for the information can work and make a follow-up on that. And that's the way spirit does work. They will give somebody so much information, but they want the person that they're actually working with to actually work with them. So it's like, again, a little bit need to know type of information. So Kevin, I hope that I helped you on that, and do let us know what the outcome with what I have given you, what it turned out. Okay. When I first got when I first got a spirit box, and I'm going to admit it, I'm sorry, I'm going to admit it, but I got the SCD-1 to test out. This is before the other stuff started to happen. But anyways, is that I did get some responses. And the responses that I got from the SCD-1, I thought were, how should I say, to my way of thinking, at the time, mind you, at the time, was just something that I had to do a little experiment with. So what I did is that I called in a couple of people, and the people I called in, I have to give you a little background here real quick, is that I was watching the Alamo, 13 Days of Glory, the Alamo with John Wayne, and the Alamo with I forget the other but anyways, so I decided to call in Jim Bowie and William Travis and Davy Crockett, and I did get responses, which I thought was kind of surprising, and I just thanked them for what they did to help Texas as to become to get away from Mexico and to become a part of the United States. And they thanked me for thanking them, you might say. So it was kind of a two-way, like a double thank you. Thank you to them, and thank you to me. And I haven't done any more with that. On the spirit box here, which I've been using now since we found out about the SCD-1 and some of the other apps that have been out, is that believe it or not, I said to myself, well, why don't you try to get a hold of Elvis Presley? So turned on the box. I turned on the box, and I said, if Elvis Presley could come through, can you just say hello? And boom, he said hello. In fact, I have it recorded, and I said, are you really Elvis Presley? And he said, yes, I am. And I said, well, Mr. Presley, I said, I said, back in the 60s, early and late 60s, I liked your music, blah, blah, blah. And he said, thank you. And I asked how he was doing. He said is that he was doing very well on the other side. And so that was about the end of that. That was about the end of that conversation. I'm sorry, I have a little mouth problem here I had for the last couple of days, and it's hard for me to get some of my words out. So anyways, But I think what's been more interesting, like I said, working with Elizabeth Borden and also with Elisa Lam, trying to figure out with her demise. The next one I'm going to be working with is you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to tell you anyways. I'm going to try to get the identity of Jack the Ripper. Uh, um, but I will definitely let you. I will definitely let you on when I hear something positive, or if I hear something in depth. I will definitely let everybody know just what I got with the Ripper. I asked a friend of mine. I asked one of my colleagues over in England, who lives in Kent, who I hope will be coming here in next month, as to have an interview with, which she sounded excited about. In fact, I just wrote her this morning to find out what her schedule is as of now. But I did ask her if she ever went down what they used to call Ripper Street, and that was just a section of part of London, part of that section of London, where the murders occurred back in 1888, and she said is that it wouldn't be even worth her time, and she gave me a reason, and I can understand, is because a lot of psychics and a lot of mediums have gone down and tried to investigate through psychic and mediumistic means, and sooner or later you're going to hit what they call as a dead cell, which means nothing there, and you couldn't even pick up any remnant type of energies. That's because with so many people doing the investigation, it's like a vacuum cleaner sucking up those energies to where it becomes now a dead cell. So that's the reason why she said is that she wouldn't waste her time, and I can understand that. Okay, I'm going to have I was going to talk about in one of my opening the doors to the unknown. I was going to bring up the subject of how to open up psychic abilities with the clairaudient, the clairvoyant, and the clairsentient. I just might do that as of yet, and with that particular video on that subject, as I also might talk about a little of psychic with psychic healings as well, on how you can perform presence of the person that you're doing the healing, or what is called long distance. I like long distance, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Okay. Anyways, so like I said, this is a short video, and I'm going to close out here. My producer says, excuse me again, my nose itches. Every time I talk, once in a while, Spirit likes to, do one of their funny little things. And the one that they like to irritate me with is with my nose. They make my nose itch. So this is the reason why you see that. Anyways, I'm going to close out. I'm going to close out here. And all I can say is if I can put my picture back up, if we can do that. once in a while I have some problems here with my pictures. Anyways, I just do. I'm just gonna do it this way. It just takes. It's just too much trouble. Okay. I can do it this way as well. I'll just hold the. I'll just kind of hold the picture up. I'll just hold the picture. Hold the picture. I'll just hold the picture up like this, and just say is I'll talk to you guys later. And this has been a production of opening the doors opening the doors to the unknown in association with me, and naturally with the copyright of 2016. And so I say goodbye for now. So, oops. See, anyways, bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. There's one thing I forgot to mention about some of my friends, is that when they started to laugh, one of them said, and kind of made me laugh, and I don't know what was so funny, but one said is they were laughing, like laughing out loud and laughing their ass off. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like I said, they were in a conjovial mood this morning, which I do like. Okay, with that, adios.